Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today we've got an unboxing. Believe it or not, this is something I picked up at the start of December last year, and I keep thinking I'll do an unboxing of that on camera, and we'll have a look at it on camera, and one thing or another, you know, it's just got put to the back of my mind, it's got stuck behind things, and I finally come across it again today, and I thought, right, it's time we'll actually do a unboxing of it. And the good news is it's something computery. I've not done anything computery on the channel, and it's vintage laptopy, and it's 286 vintage laptopy. If I remember correctly, what we've got in here is a Compaq LTE 286. Now it's a vintage laptop that I did, well, I've got one of them somewhere, unfortunately in a state now where it's not really repairable. It's got multiple faults, the one that I've got, and it's really probably better as a donor laptop for possibly this one, so we can get a nice working one hopefully together. Anyway, let's open the box, let's see what we've got, and there may be a chance that we can try and give this some power and see if it's going to do anything. So let's get it open and see what we've got. Now what have we got? That'll do. Go. Right, we're in. Well, at least the packaging's good. I've had this so long. I mean, what are we, like, getting towards the end of what are we in, May, so a 5th month. It's been nearly 6 months since I bought this, so I can't exactly send it back on eBay, but at least the packaging's well. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I think we're missing I'm sure I might have just dropped off in here. Let's have a look. That's not a problem though, because like I said, I do have a donor machine for this. Don't seem to remember that being missing in the listings, but it could have been. I'd see it. No, it's not in any of the packaging, so it's not just dropped off in there. But as I said, I do have one of these that we can use for spare parts. It does have its hard drive in it. These are proprietary, I believe, to these systems as well, to the Compaq systems. It's missing a spring clip on that side. I can actually pull it there, but the actual clip on the end's broken off. Like I said, fortunately, like I said, I have got another of these machines we can use as a donor machine, and make one really nice one out of the two. So let's open it up. There's a little bit of, in fact this is actually a very slightly different model, I think. It might be a very slightly different model to the one that I've got already. I'm sure mine's got a slightly smaller screen than that. I could be mistaken. A little bit of degradation on the screen there, so if it is the same screen I could swap it for the one off the scrap one that I've got, because that's got a good screen on it. I'm not sure what that lock feature there is for. That's power on there. Got our brightness and contrast controls, standby. The really strange connector that these use. I don't know, I've never actually seen a power supply that would fit one of these going on its own. Otherwise I would have tried to get one, but we'll probably have to change that for something a bit more easily accessible. I had to do that on the other one that I had to I had to heavily modify the power supply in that one because it was rather faulty. Let's have a look in here. This should be the battery door. It's been taped shut on this one, but and the battery's been removed, fortunately. Now we might be able to think it's about 7.5 volts you need to give this to power up, so we might be able to get some crock leads in there and actually power this thing up. On that side there, I think that's for a modem. You can take that out and have a modem in there, if I remember correctly from the other ones, the other one of these that I had, well, I've got. I'll have to dig that one out sometime. I wonder, right, what I'll have to do is ascertain which of those is the positive, which is the negative. And I think if we feed it about 7.5 volts from the bench power supply, in fact, we'll try it about 6 volts. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 volts. Yeah, let's try and feed it about 5.5 volts to start with into the battery terminals there. We've got a current limitable supply there, so we can do that. First thing we need to do is ascertain which one of those is ground. Now, the chance this thing's not going to really do anything. I know mine had some major problems in the power supply section due to bad capacitors. The Achilles heel of these is the disk drive, because it's proprietary to these Compaqs, and that's what eventually killed off the other one of these that I've got, is that one of the heads actually came unglued in the disk drive, and I put a disk in and it just destroyed the floppy drive. And you can't configure the hard drive and do a lot of things with these without the floppy drive working. Like to be able to get into the BIOS to set up for the hard drive and everything like that on these Compaqs, you need the floppy drive and you need the floppy disk with the setup. Basically, the BIOS is on the BIOS setup is on the floppy, like the one with the earlier IBM ATs. Without a working floppy drive, there's not a lot you can do with them, really, unfortunately. Hopefully, that floppy drive works, or at least we can get it working. Right, let's set this to continuity. There we go. We'll try on that side there. This is rather a long probe. This is going to be quite tricky to do, actually, but there we go. Right, so this side here is negative, that side there is obviously positive. So if I get my test leads, where are they? I really need to tidy up in here, it's getting a little bit of a mess. That's a USB lead, that's no good. Where's my there they are, they're on the floor. Right, I get these. And it's a case of getting, well, actually we could connect the ground to anywhere. Let's concentrate on trying getting that positive there to connect onto that terminal down there, and we'll soon get this thing to power up. This is going to be a bit tricky to do, but if I get that, I can open them up like that. If I reach down, I'm wondering whether I can just clip it. There we are. Alright, we're on. I'm not going to tempt fate and try and get the other one on there, because we know that the ground is on the back plane as well. Because we had 0 ohms between that connection and there, we can just connect this to, like, the back of there, so I've just gone on that nut there. Right, let's set the power supply up. That's a bit too high, let's bring that down to about 5.5 volts, I think. Yeah, about 5.5 volts, I think. I think the current. Let's just set the current limit on this as well. We go over to meter. you stupid Saddam. I need the leads to be able to short that to be able to set the current limit. Just a sec. Right, there we are. To basically set the current limit, you want to short the leads. We can set a current limit to, let's say it to about an amp. So really could do with replacing that pot there. It's a bit flaky. There we go. So we're current limited to about an amp on the bench power supply. I think the batteries are probably about an amp hour. I should expect there'll be what were they called? I can't remember what the old batteries were called now actually. Let's set it over to voltage. We're there, 5.5 volts. Just see if we've got any signs of life on the laptop. So, hey, we've got a little bit of life there. The power light flicked on for a second. That seems okay up there. Let's try it again. Perhaps it needs a little bit more current than that. It's trying to power up. You can see the backlight fire up on the screen. Get you perhaps up a little touch. Let's give it a little bit more current. There we go. No, it needs a little bit more than that, I think. Switch that off. Let's give it a little bit more current on the power supply. It's hitting the current limit. Got anything on the screen? Nope. It's showing some signs of life, but we've not got a lot there yet. This is only a 2 amp power supply, but I can't expect it wanting to pull more than 2 amps from the battery, so right, okay. Anything on screen? Ah. I think our screen has pretty much had it. Unfortunate. Right. Now, unfortunately, I think our screen's pretty much dead by the look of it. We're really not getting anything discernible on the screen, but the computer itself seems to be actually working. I mean, the hard drive, it sounds awful, but it is actually spinning up. I heard the floppy drive seek, so the floppy drive's at least not completely dead, and we've got some error beep codes, so we're somewhere anyway. Let's try one more time and just see if we can get anything on that screen, but like I said, I'm pretty sure unfortunately that screen's past it. Let's try messing with the brightness and contrast to see. It's definitely trying to do something, the screen. Right, there's the floppy seek. There's a couple of beeps. The hard drive is still spinning. Interesting. No, that's not good. The fact the hard drive's spinning up and spinning down like that doesn't bode well for the hard drive, but it could be as simple as a bad capacitor or something. We will have to look into that. But the screen is definitely not looking healthy, unfortunately. No. I think what I'll have to try and do is see if we can connect it up to some kind of external monitor and see what we've really got going on, to be honest. What have we got on the output? It's probably just standard CJ, isn't it? I think these are CJ rather than EJ anyway. In fact, what I'll do, let me pause the video. I wonder if we could just perhaps take the screen off my other one. And because that screen definitely does work, put it on here and get that to work. Just hold on a second, let me see if I can find the scrap one of these I've got and see how much work it'd be to swap the screens over. So back in a sec. Right, we're back and we have another Compaq LTE 286. Now, like I said, this one, the floppy drive is dead on it. I don't think there's any repair in that floppy drive, with the fact that one of the heads has actually been ripped off. But the screen, if you look on this, is actually in a really nice condition. I think if I remember correctly, the screen works absolutely perfectly. I can't remember whether this will power up at all. We might just have a quick go now, see if we can just get it to perhaps fire up. If I remember correctly, it's got major issues, this one. It has been quite heavily modified inside because the capacitor leaked quite severely and done a fair bit of damage, if I remember correctly, inside it. Let me see if I can just perhaps get it to power up though. At least then we'd prove whether not the keyboard, that's another problem. It means we've got spare keyboards and spare other bits for this, so we can make a really nice one of these. Right, so that's the one that came today. This is the old one I've got. So we've got that's missing there. Hopefully we've got a working floppy drive. I think the hard drive in this does actually work. I think if I remember correctly, the hard drive is actually okay in this. It's just you can't configure it because the floppy drive doesn't work anymore. Let me just see if I can get this to connect up and see if we've got any signs of life in it. It's a while since I've actually messed with this. There we go. I've done the same as I did before. Just connected that on there. We'll connect that like I did before onto there. Right, okay, let's try this. All we really want to see is, does that screen work? Got some power there. Switch on. Oh, lovely. That hard drive doesn't sound very happy. But that is actually counting the memory up. There we are. We've got 640k memory. So, out of the two, actually, I mean, look, we seem to have two good working main boards. I know that this has got damage in the actual power supply section because I had to work on it before to get this thing actually working in the first place. The problem with it is, like I said, is now it wants us to load that disk, and we can't do because that floppy drive's absolutely completely dead, and these are proprietary to the Compaqs. It's not like I can just take a normal floppy drive and connect it up to it to something. Like I said, the same with the hard drives. They use kind of, I don't know if it's based on RLL or IDE or something, but it's certainly proprietary interface inside, as we'll see when we actually crack into these machines. But you know, it looks like we've got a good screen there. We've got another machine, so we've definitely got enough parts here, I think, to that hard drive sounds about as bad as the other one. We might be able to make one working hard drive out of the two, I don't know. I think they're both probably going to be the same hard drive. I think it's like I can't remember if it's 20 or 30 megabytes or something like that. It's not a big hard drive, but it doesn't need to be in a system like this. And I think I'm going to probably leave it there for now. This was just like literally a quick little unboxing video. But I think it's going to be, let's call it part one of getting one of these systems fully restored. So and when we next crack into these, we'll probably get these both completely apart. Have a look at what work I did to this, because it was a very, very, very long time ago that I got this and actually got it up and running. I think this was a car boot sale fine for £1 or £2. A very, like I said, a very long time ago. And I remember messing about with it and getting it up and running at the time. I used it for a bit. I put it into storage. I got it out of storage. This RTC battery had failed in it. I remember messing about with it, trying to reconfigure it, and the floppy drive dying on it. Basically giving up with it at that point. But obviously I picked that one up in December. I know I paid a reasonable amount for it, but I didn't pay silly money for it. I think it was about 20 quid or something like that, including the postage, which I didn't think was particularly bad. But I think we've definitely got enough parts here, like I said, to make one good one out of the two. So tuned in for part two on this one, like I said, when we crack into it and see what we can do. So I'll say thanks for watching and goodbye.